Alrighty. I think we're live now. I'm just trying to get this shade. I'm in the car right now because it's loud in the camper. So, let's see. I think I already had somebody said something. I think Christina said something. Hey, Christina. I would love to meet you. Oh, let's see. You live in the Sandy City area. So right now we are in, Ainsworth, Nebraska. So, and our kind of general itinerary is to go up through like Mount Rushmore, Badlands, Mount Rushmore. We're hoping to get up to Glacier and then back down through Yellowstone and then possibly Colorado and then perhaps Utah. So I'm not very good with geography when it comes to Utah, so I don't know which part. I don't know really which part we'll be traveling in. And I also don't know at which part. Sorry, I know that is right there. Let me see if I can. There. Okay, sorry. So if we happen to go through there, then I will certainly let you know. And I'm gonna I'll try to remember to tell you people where I am so that if you guys would like to meet up for coffee or something, we can totally do that. We'll just chat for a few more minutes because it's not quite 3 o'clock. So if anybody has put questions in there, I see the questions and I'll just, oh, thank you, Birdie. That 100,000 steps was really, really hard. I was shocked at how difficult they were. I was just, I guess I just way underestimated the difficulty it was going to be. And I mean, people do it all the time. Before I even tried this, you know, I was basically just used to 6 miles a day. I did not train for it at all. I mean, I occasionally have, 20,000 step days. Like you can look on my Fitbit profile, you can see, how many steps I normally get. So, so I read the article. There was like a blog post on Fitbit, like 3 other people that had done it. A lot more people than that have done it, I know, but like these 3 people, they highlighted their stories. And there was like a 70-year-old man in there, and there was just, it was like people that didn't really train for it. And so I thought, oh, it'll be a piece of cake. I was wrong. I was so wrong. But it was worth every bit of it. We're getting so close. We've got $7,386 raised. I can't remember the exact number, but we're getting super, super, super close, which is super exciting. And I just found out that at $8,000 they can start actually digging the well, because the rest of the 2,000 is for like the pumps and the water storage containers. So we're getting very, very close. So I'm about to do a big push to try to get us to the 8,000 point, like on my Facebook page and stuff. So, oh, thank you, Em. I am completely blown away, okay, by the generosity of people. And also, it's just been such a lesson with like the baby step mentality of, okay, you got to focus on that next little hurdle, the next little hurdle, the next little hurdle. Because if you just think about the 10,000, it's really overwhelming. But the people that have given, I did a graph because, I'm a numbers nerd, just because I want to show people how much what they might consider small contributions, which I think are super generous, like $52 and under has been over, I think, a third of our progress. So it's just majorly important. So never think that a small donation doesn't help. It totally does. Okay. Are we at 3 o'clock yet? I think, well, 3, it's actually 2 here, but it's 3 o'clock Eastern time. Okay. So let's start this. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Kayla Cox. I am the owner of this here channel, and I have lost over 80 pounds using intermittent fasting, specifically 1 meal a day, or OMAD. And I walk 6 miles every single day, and I've done that for a long time now. So, okay. Christina, you said you should have been more specific with my question for last week. Do I ever experience low blood sugar with intermittent fasting? Okay. So I would say I don't think I do. I don't track my blood sugar. Like, that's not something that I'm not pricking my finger to see if it's low. I never feel like my blood sugar is low. I don't know that I've ever experienced low blood sugar ever. Like, I don't know. So I would say no. But again, I'm not tracking, so I can't say for sure that I never have just because I'm not tracking that information. Zen, you said, what app do you use to calculate your steps? So I have a Fitbit, okay? I've got a Fitbit Flex, and so it automatically syncs with the Fitbit app, and that's what tracks my steps. And all that I care about at the end of the day is that my steps are 14,000 or more, and that's 6 miles for me. So I love the Fitbit. I love the Fitbit app. So yeah, I love it. Okay. Oh, hey, Noelle. Thank you so much for donating. Okay, you're wondering how long was my longest plateau. Okay, so, okay. Now, the one that pops into my mind initially is in 2015. And in 2015, I was trying to lose weight, but I was doing a bad job of it because I was in a hurry, okay? I would like have a little bit of success. I was learning about intermittent fasting. I was doing it, but I wasn't being consistent. I was like, you know, I would do intermittent fasting, having a little bit of results. I'm like, ooh, if I add in counting calories and all this stuff, then it's gonna, you know, make my results faster. And then I wouldn't have fast results. And then I would get frustrated and I'd just like throw my hands up in the air, being very inconsistent. But at the end of 2015, I can't remember what month it was, but I had a deadlift injury, okay? And that's when I just like, at that point, up until that point, I had been doing very, very, very difficult exercise in the hopes that I could really, you know, lose the weight fast, like CrossFit and powerlifting. I mean, the heaviest stuff I could lift. And so at that point, I was right at 200. I mean, I was like hovering. I think there was one day that I got down to like 199. I was so excited. And then right around that time is when I had the deadlift injury. So, I kind of went into a funk because I was like, I can't really exercise. My back was hurting super, super bad. And I was plateaued. Like, it seems like and I've published this on my website and on the forums, but, and then also in a description here, but, oh, and also, I should mention before we go much further, I did create a Facebook group, so you can go, the link is in the description, and my husband will post it in the chat. Go ahead and you can join that group, and I will put this file that I'm about to tell you about in the group, you know, file settings or whatever. But basically, you can go back and look at my spreadsheet and see like exactly when the plateau started. Basically, up until July of 2015, I was having pretty good results, and then it just like slowed way down. And so I basically got like 15 pounds off pretty quick, which I think is pretty normal for a lot of different diets. Anytime you kind of like are starting to get more active and changing your stuff, it's usually, you know, like 15 pounds. People get to that point, or that was one thing I read one time. But anyway, I plateaued. And I stayed right at 200 forever. Like, that's what it felt like. I felt like I was never, ever getting out of that plateau. I tried a bunch of stuff, and then the weight started to creep back up because I was getting frustrated. I just wasn't being consistent with anything. I was like, forget it, you know, I'm not going to be able to do this. So that's when, in January 2016, that's when I said, okay, eat once, well, actually it was just at that point, intermittent fasting 6 days a week, cheat day on Sundays, walk 6 miles every single day. Got really, really simple, easy, got very consistent. And then in 2016, I don't recollect ever really plateauing bad because I was being super consistent. In my life, I've noticed the times that I plateau, it usually has to do with not being consistent, like not being very clear on my plan, not being very consistent with my plan. So, but you can go back and look at that spreadsheet. I will show you the spreadsheet that shows all my numbers. It's like from February 20th, 2015, sorry. That's when I started weighing every day up until I think like August 22nd or something. That was the last thing that I had filled in. So it can show you just how my numbers fluctuate and how I plateaued and all that stuff. Okay. Birdie, you asked, are you walking more than 6 miles a day now? It varies based on the day. There are days where like I might get all of my steps in first thing in the morning, and then we just go and do a lot of stuff, and so then I get more in. Other days I get them in really early, and then I work at the computer for the rest of the day, and I get very few more. So it just kind of varies. It's still, my goal is just 6 miles every day. I'm happy with 6 miles. So let's see. Hey Beverly, thanks for joining us. Yeah, Birdie, yeah, Yeah, 6 miles is like, oh, this is nothing compared to 43.2. So, no, actually, I have been pretty sore. I'm still pretty sore actually from Friday. So, I'm still trying to get rested up from it. And so, yeah, it's been crazy, but I can certainly, my respect level for marathoners and ultra marathoners that are doing like these ridiculously like, I think an ultra marathon is considered anything more than 50 miles. Somebody can correct me on that, but I can't even think of how you run for that long. So, okay, Manal, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. You said, hi, I just started IF. How many miles should you start with? So, okay, I did 6 miles, just is a very arbitrary number, okay? I did that because I read an article one time and it was like a celebrity fitness trainer, and she said that she encourages her clients to move at least 3 miles a day. And so I thought, well, I lose weight really slowly and all that stuff, so, and I walk really slow, so I'm just gonna double it. And I mean, it was totally random. And so that's what I did. But I would say if you're just starting out with intermittent fasting and you're wanting to walk some too, I would just say make it really, really, really easy. Something you can be consistent with. Work on consistency first before you do anything else. Like, so make your fasting window easy to stick with, make your step goal easy to stick with. And then as you can be very consistent with that, then work on increasing the length of your fasting window as you feel comfortable and as you're having results, and just keep it to where you have a good mix of you're having results and you're also feeling good, you know. So that's what I always did. Hey Darlene, you've got 10,000 steps so far, or 10,124. Everyone counts, right? So that's awesome. That is great. Okay, you almost missed me online. I know, I've got to like, at one point I figured out how you can notify everybody, like remind everybody that you're going live, but I couldn't find it the other day. I've been a bit distracted with this fundraiser. So, okay, you were thinking about what you could ask, and one thing you're really struggling with is just one meal. About around 3 p.m. I really want to eat, but your husband likes to eat at 6. Okay, so I think what you're saying is like maybe one meal a day is just, you know, at this point not feasible. I think that's fine. I think, again, if you're getting hungry around 3 p.m., that's fine. Like, I didn't rush into OMAD, okay? I didn't go from like 5 meals a day down to 1 meal a day. It was super duper slow. Like, remember, 2015 is when I was like trying to figure it out. I was trying to like push breakfast later and later, and then eventually I got to like a late lunch, and then it was like, okay, I can push it out. By 2016, that's when I was finally, I would say, at like an 18.6. So, you know, that would be, you know, it's, you understand, it's 6 hours of an eating window. And so, you know, that, and then, you know, to a 24, and then to, you know, down to 1 meal a day. I did it pretty gradually. So, I would say, let yourself eat, like when you say, okay, I've fasted for as long as I can at this point. And so at this point, I'm gonna, you know, whatever, you know, if it's 3 p.m. for you, then say, okay, 3 p.m. is when my window opens, and just be very, very consistent with that at first. I think you'll find, if your goal is OMAD, that you can push it out slowly, you know, as you get used to eating at 3. Then after you've done that for like a week or so, you'll probably find like, hey, I could probably wait till 3:30 to eat. And then, you know, again, it's taking the long view. I know it's easy to get in a rush, but just see how that works out for you. That would be my, you know, advice. Let's see. Yeah. So you're talking about you have to be sure about protein rich. You know, like the only thing that I would say, because I don't really, you know, I have high carb meals, low protein, high carb, you know, all the different combinations, everything is what I eat. So one thing I did notice was I didn't feel great if I had no fat and no protein in with a lot of carbs. So like a stack of pancakes with just a bunch of syrup and no turkey bacon and like butter on like with it, or eggs are nice too with pancakes, then yeah, I don't feel great the next day. So I don't know that that's low blood sugar technically speaking, but okay. Hey Carlene, hey Wonder Woman. you're, you're buttering me up, Carlene. I read with the IF, it helps with flab and loose skin if you're consistent. Have you noticed any reduction in these areas? Okay, so, and I did a whole video about this, you know, about loose skin. And basically, here's what I say. First of all, I Googled it when I was first losing weight. I was very scared, actually. It was something that kept me from wanting to lose weight in the first place. I was really afraid. I would put in a lot of effort to lose the weight, and then my body would look horrible. Like, it would look worse at a normal weight than it did overweight, if that makes sense. And I mean, oh gosh, I know that's complete vanity to be worried about stuff like that, but that is where I was. So I Googled, first of all, what does a body look like after you've lost 80 pounds? I looked at, you know, what does your body look like after you've had babies? Because that's another thing. I've had 3 kids. So I just started Googling it and I started to really see, okay, what do normal bodies look like, okay? And they don't look like magazines. Magazines are not reality. So to get really, you know, like really confront myself with, this is what a normal body's going to look like. This is probably going to be the reality. No matter how much weight I lose, you know, I'm still going to have stretch marks. I'm still going to probably have some loose skin just by virtue of I've lost 80 pounds. So I made peace with that, and I told myself I could get, you know, if I wanted at that point where I got down to a certain weight, you know, if I was extremely unhappy with how I looked, I could either gain the weight back or I would get surgery if we could afford it at that point. But what happened was, you know, I'm down 80 something pounds now, and I feel great. I love the way I look. I'm very, very happy with it, like where I am. Now, do I have loose skin? Yeah, I do have some loose skin. I don't think it's really, I mean, when I look at it, I'm like surprised that it's, you know, that it looks the way it looks because, you know, I've lost 80 pounds. So I hope that helps, but I'm proud of it. Like every time I look at it, I'm like, hey, I've lost 80 pounds and I've given birth to 3 beautiful kids and I've got stretch marks and I'm proud of them. So there you go. So I don't know if that helps. I hope it does. Okay, Linda, you said, hey, you're looking forward to questions and answers from all over the world. I'm still on around 25 pounds lost. Awesome. 12 kilos in about 4 months. You're OMAD all the way. You've got about another 50 to lose. That's awesome, Linda. You're going to get there, and, you know, just keep at it. Keep being consistent and just really, really be patient with it, and just patience and consistency. You'll get there. Noelle, you said, what about your longest plateau on plan? Oh, gosh. Like I said, I can't think of one that sticks out. But I'll show you that spreadsheet. And Jay, I don't know if you can find it. It's in my drive under 6 miles to supper, and it says Kayla's weight loss journey. But and if you could post it somehow. But if not, it wasn't that long. I always, like, my motto when I got to the point in January 2016, I just told myself, I'm gonna have plateaus. And another thing is, it kind of depends on what your you know, Noelle, you can't be plateauing that hard, okay? Because you just told me the other day in one of the comments, if I'm remembering correctly, that you had a plateau and then you broke it. So you're going to have to clarify for me, because here's what I would say a plateau is. Here's how I define a plateau. You are being super consistent, and you're weighing every single day, and you're keeping track of your 7-day average, and that 7-day average has not moved down a single point of an ounce in say 6 weeks or 2 months. Like, because the thing is, sometimes it's just like a half a pound a week, and then it'll just like bam, all of a sudden it's like 3 pounds down. So you're gonna have to define terms for me for plateauing hard. Okay, yeah, Darlene, yeah, y'all go join the Facebook group. I'm gonna, you know, basically the only rule is the golden rule, so just be nice to each other. That's all I care about. And it is a private group, so like you have to ask to join, but I will approve you. Yeah, hey Diana, thank you again for donating. I appreciate that a whole lot. Yeah, that was the thing. Green Eye Bandit, consistency. It's like the most important thing is being consistent, meaning you have a plan, you're sticking to it, and as soon as you ever get off the plan, if you slip up or whatever, you just get right back on the plan, and you're just super, super consistent. And you know, if you do that, I have found it works. It just does. Okay. Oh, Edwige, hi from France. Congrats. I hope you achieve your goal of 10,000. Well, thank you. We're getting very close. I think at last count it was like $7,386. So we're getting very, very close. You're down 6.9 pounds for August and firmly below 200. Yay! That is awesome. You're in Wonderland. I learned that phrase from you guys. Cheat days give you anxiety, so only once a month. Yeah, so that is a common thing for people. They get really freaked out about cheat day, which is funny to me because, well, it's not funny because I do understand it. I remember when I first heard about cheat days, I really thought, you can't do that. You're going to undo all your progress for the week. But what it did for me was just, it made it so easy. When I really stuck to having a true cheat day. So in other words, I didn't say, okay, Kayla, you can have a cheat day, but you got to be good. You know, you don't go overboard. Like when I just said, whatever you want, Kayla, like whatever you want to eat, however much you want to eat, you have complete and total freedom. It worked. It just made it really easy. And it also, you know, in this weird counterintuitive way, made it so that I didn't want to sit there and just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat because I knew I can do whatever I want. There was like no rebellion there, right? It took the fun out of overeating in a way. Zen group, I think hopefully you got my my answer. I said Fitbit app. That's what I use to calculate the steps. Okay, M. Valentine, you said, do you have days when you can't get your 6 miles in? What do you do? I have PMS today and I have been tracking all day. Terrible. Okay. Okay. So to show you how consistent I am now with steps, because so in 2016 I was super consistent. I don't even know if I missed a day when I was like from January to November. I don't know that I missed a day. After I've started this channel, I think I missed a day when we had to evacuate for Hurricane Irma. So, I mean, I'm talking, I'm pretty strict with myself. Now, when we bought the RV, I didn't get my steps in. So I can pretty much name the days. That's how rare it is. But see, that's why I told myself I don't have any kind of pace goals. It can be the slowest walking. I've totally been there, PMSing, cramping, whatever, you know, it's just like, okay, but I can stand up and I can just drag myself around the house. And I mean, and my husband can attest to this. There were times I was just like walking as slow as I could, but it's like, I'm going to get these steps in. I don't care how slow they're going to be. And, you know, once you do that enough times, you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to get up and get them, you know, and, yeah, so to me, the 6 miles are important for my plan, for me personally. I'm not saying that you need to get 6 miles in every day, but I feel good when I get 6 miles in every day. If I don't get the 6 miles in, I feel irritable. I just, you know, because I did experiment when I was maintaining, because I basically wanted to see what's the minimum effective dose. That's a Tim Ferriss idea of like, what's the least you can do to get the results. So I was experimenting with not getting the 6 miles in, with eating as much as I could throughout the day. So pushing the windows out as far as I could, but I was also paying attention to how I was feeling. And so that's kind of where I ended up. Was I really liked having the 6 miles there because just emotionally I felt better. So so there you go. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, my moderator, that's my husband, JR. He's amazing. Been married for almost 15 years now. 15 years in February. Okay. Yeah. Hey, 80 pounds, and it takes a while. Like it took me, so from 2015 I lost 15 pounds, let's say. In 2016 I lost 50, and in so for the most of the rest of that year, so from, it's like November, December of 2016 all the way through September 2017, I was just maintaining. Then in September 2017, that's when I started losing more. So, you know, it's like taking me another it's been almost a year. Yeah, right. Well, yeah, right at a year. To lose 15. So that's about a pound a month, a little over a pound a month. So which I'm happy with. But it's about the long term, you know, thinking, being very, very patient with it. So, okay, loose skin is a problem for. Oh, and I forgot to say because basically the question about loose skin was about autophagy, right? Like, your body basically, when it's fasting, is eating the the loose skin, basically, the useless stuff that's in there, that it just uses it for energy. The thing is, I can't say one way or the other because I'm just one person, and I can't run an experiment on myself to see like what kind of loose skin would I have had any other way. So, but I can just tell you that, I mean, I don't know whether to attribute it to fasting or what. But hey, JM Blanken, thanks for coming. I'm glad you made it. Okay, yeah, so he did put that weight loss journey spreadsheet in there. Good. Yeah, that said, it's supposed to, you know, I don't know. So Sapphire, you asked, do my feet hurt when I walk that much every day? No, my feet feel really good. My knees feel really good. I normally, like, in the past, which, you know, I was heavier, so this could have been a factor too, but I used to try to jog 3 miles a day, back when I was heavier, and my knees would kill me. I had like really, really bad arch pain. Just, you know, lots of different pain. But walking has always been one of those things. I just feel good. Now, I mean, it's not to say that I didn't get tired at first, because I did. Sometimes I would just be like, oh, I feel so tired. I'm so done with these steps, or I'm so ready to be done with these steps. But so far, no. Now, like, since my 100,000 step day on Friday, I have had more back pain, like just that, and that's what was hurting me during the actual walk. After I got to about 70,000 steps, that's when the back pain started, and I've still felt some and a little bit of like I think it's shin splints since that day. So, but I'm getting back to it. Let's see. Yeah, consistency, a word. Linda, you said consistency is a word you use over and over again, and it's exactly what you need to hear. Stick to the plan, the weight will move. Yeah, it's just, you know, and it's about just giving yourself a lot of forgiveness when you get off of the plan. And because there were times, right, where I would not plan for something to happen, and then I would feel frustrated afterwards. Like, for example, I would go to, say, a lunch, and my plan would be, I'm not going to eat at the lunch, a business lunch or a family lunch or something like that. I'm not going to eat at the lunch. But then it turns out I did eat at lunch just because people were feeling uncomfortable. And then I would get frustrated with myself. I'd be like, oh, I didn't stick to the plan. I'm not being consistent. So that's when I came in and I made a rule for myself about those times. So, like, if you find, like, oh, this one little thing is making me not be consistent, then change that one thing. Like, make yourself a rule so that you're still on plan. So, like, you know, like I've told you guys, some of my other rules are, if my kids make me something, you know, like, and it happens to be outside, like, the one that happens most often is, like, my son might bake something and it's after supper, so I've already stood up from the table, I've started fasting again, but he made cookies or something. I'm still going to have the cookies because my son made something for the family. And, you know, that's just one of those things that it doesn't happen that often. It keeps me consistent because it's still my code, right? Like, that is part of my code. This is what I do in that situation. So coming up with a rule and knowing you have a plan for it, and not getting frustrated when you realize, like, oh, I don't really have a plan for that. Just sit down and say, okay, when this happens, I will do this, and make it easy on yourself too. It's easy to eat the cookies, I'll tell you that. Let's see. Mrs. Chavez, you're an inspiration. Oh, thanks. Okay, what brand and type of shoes do you have? Okay, so right now I have, and I've got a link somewhere. Jay, I don't know if you can find the link on my resources page for the shoes that I have. They are New Balance Arishi version 1. They're great. They've got fresh foam in them. They're really lightweight, but they've got really grippy bottoms, like something that just drives me bonkers about a lot of the shoes nowadays. Like, they're like really slick on the bottom, you know, but these are nice and grippy. And they've been great, and I don't have them in here with me. I'm barefoot right now. But they're getting pretty worn. Like at this point, I have 900 miles on them. I bought them on Mother's Day. I got them for Mother's Day, and they've got 900 miles. So they're due for. I should probably change them out pretty soon, just because the grip is wearing off the bottom of them at this point. And so yeah, that's. But I love New Balance. They fit my feet well, and like I said, the fresh foam thing seems, I couldn't find a lot of information about it, but it seems to make it so they don't smell bad. And we were in Florida hiking in the heat a lot, and they never seem to stink. So, oh, thanks, Lonnie. Let's see. Eliminating vegetable oils and eating more saturated fat. Yeah, I don't have joint pain anymore, but yeah. Let's see. Okay, Lonnie, you said, do you eat waffles? I love waffles. Look, y'all, I love all the food, okay? Like, I love carbs, and I love steak, and I love all the stuff. Like, I love vegetables and fruits, just the whole thing. I don't eliminate anything out of my diet, basically. Yeah, don't be hard on yourself. Green-eyed bandit, so important to catch yourself being mean to yourself in your head. Like something that I heard the other day was, if you catch if you can hear your inner dialogue, start to really listen to it, and then if you ask yourself, would I say that to my child? Would I say that to my best friend? If the answer is no, then you really shouldn't be saying it to yourself. So just, learning how to notice it and then do something about it, which is, one thing you can start to do, which I always feel silly doing it, is like, if I catch myself being mean to myself, then I make myself say 5 nice things about myself. So, which is what I do to my kids too. Like, if they're being mean to each other, I'm like, okay, sit there and say 5 nice things to each other. Let's see, Cats 1. You said, I just happened to find you today. Oh, well, welcome. Where do you see more? Where to see more videos about intermittent fasting? Well, here on YouTube, I have created some lists, some playlists of intermittent fasting, about just all the different things, like some beginners videos and stuff. You can also go to my website, 6milestosupper.com. That's also a good place, if you're just wanting to search, because there's a search bar. I know YouTube is kind of a hard one to search through sometimes, but on my website you can search, and just kind of look at all the things. But mainly, just starting out, I would try to say, make it as easy on yourself as possible. So make it so that you can be really consistent with your fasting window. Basically, all intermittent fasting is just not eating for a specified period of time. And people make it a lot more complicated than it needs to be, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, Dr. Berg is a good one. Let's see. I think everybody's kind of helping out, so thank you. Pamela, you said, do you ever walk barefoot or always in shoes? I love to walk barefoot. I love to hike barefoot in the woods. Oh man, it's fantastic. I love it. What I ran into in Florida, it was really nice at first. We started full-time RVing in April. And so what I did for a long time there is just I walked barefoot. I hiked barefoot, and I loved it because it was sandy but not so hot. But when it got really, really hot in Florida, the sand got way too hot for me to just walk on barefoot. So then I started having to wear shoes, which I prefer barefoot, really. And then now, I'm getting up in colder climates, so, and it's starting to get cold, it's in September now, so the ground is probably going to be too cold for my feet. I was pretty cold this morning, so, but yeah, so there we go. Thanks, Jay, for putting that link to my channel on there. Hi from France. Oh, hi. Bonjour. Or I don't know what time of day it is. I probably butchered the accent, but let's see. Hey, Catherine. Oh, thanks for joining us from the UK. Do you have a certain salad dressing I recommend? Oh, well, look, so, because I think you're new, you probably haven't watched a lot of my videos, right? So, I eat everything. I don't, I'm not high protein or keto. I'm not any of those things. Like I don't count calories. I don't count carbs. I don't limit carbs. I don't limit anything. I don't even limit sweets. So if you're just asking for what kind of dressing do I like, I love ranch dressing that I make myself, and I love blue cheese dressing. Actually, blue cheese dressing is my favorite, but I don't know that it's necessarily what most people would call healthy. So, thank you. Let's see. Please get new shoes. My sons are runners and sell shoes while in college. That's too many miles. I know. They'd be horrified. Yeah, 300 to 500. I know. I looked it up the other day because somebody was asking me, like, what do your shoes look like since you walk 6 miles a day? And I was looking to see, how many miles have I put on so far? How many miles are you supposed to change them at? And I was like, ooh, I was already over that amount. And then I said, well, I at least want to get, the 100,000 steps on them too, just to see like how well do they hold up after that, and how did my feet feel and all that. My feet were numb by the end of that. So, but yeah, I know I will get some new shoes. If you know anything about me, you would know that I'm a cheapskate and I tend not to spend much money on myself usually. So, I mean, it was a stretch for me to buy those shoes because they were like, I want to say they're at 50 bucks or so. And so I just don't like to shop really, but I will go get some more soon. Pamela, so funny. Oh, you're from Florida? Yeah, near Pensacola. We used to live in Tavares, which is in Lake County, just north of Orlando. Oh, let's see. So Rosita, hi from South Carolina. Hi from Ainsworth, Nebraska. That's where I'm at right now. So the closed group is just a place for people to go and talk and chat. And several people had requested and approached me and said, look, I would really like it if there was a group on Facebook. I was hesitant at first because I don't want to stretch myself too thin with everything I've got going on. Full-time RVer, homeschooler, what else, and I do this channel, and I do a coffee channel with my husband, and we do our full-time RVing channel. So I was, I don't want to create something that I can't really make it a really good thing, but I think I'll be okay. I think it is a good idea for people to have a good place to really come and chat with each other and support each other and encourage each other. That's what it's for. It is just for nice people to be nice to each other, and I will be very strict on making sure everybody's nice to each other. That is the one thing that I will be strict about, is just that nobody's being mean. What? Lonnie, your daughter lost 27 pounds following my regimen? Wow. What? That's crazy. Wow. Yeah, Green Dye Bandit, Orlando, yeah, that was like 40 minutes south of us. So, it was great. I love Florida weather, but we wanted to see America, so we still have family down there though. So if anybody has any more questions, I think we kind of, did I get them all? Yeah. Oh well, thanks, Rosita. Yeah. Yeah, that is great. Yeah, join it or ask to join. And I'll certainly let you in. Pretty much everybody's going to get in. I didn't make it where you have to answer questions and stuff like that, but again, just want everybody to be kind to each other. And also, I figured that would be a good place too for you guys to tell me, things you're wanting to see and all that. And oh, thanks, SJD. Yeah. So, and if anybody has any more questions, let me know. And since normally I let these go for about an hour, but yeah. Oh yeah, thanks for the reminders, everybody. So one thing I thought would be a good thing to talk about was the psychology of when you don't hit a goal, right? Because this is something I just dealt with, and because a lot of you know that my goal was to have the $10,000 raised by midnight on Friday, right? So the day that I did the 100,000 steps. So that was my goal, and that was a really, really aggressive goal. And So I had to learn at that point okay, because I've dealt with it in the past with like weight loss goals, right? And so I didn't really know, like at first, I was very, very excited about the progress that we have made so far, but it was, having to, after several days of still not hitting that goal, it got to me really on Sunday. I was feeling pretty beat down. Like I just felt like I had really failed, right? And so what I had to realize was how much progress we had made already at that point. And, when I look back now at like where we were on Sunday versus where we are now, it's like, it's so exciting. And I'm so glad that it didn't quit, right? So just never quit. Like if you miss a goal, you miss your deadline, which is, it's hard to do when you can't control the outcome. Because I can't control when people donate, right? I can only control like getting the word out and keeping, encouraging people and trying to spread the word as much as I can. So it's the same thing with weight loss. You can do everything you can, but you kind of have to wait on the scale to catch up. Same thing with the fundraiser. So if you ever miss a deadline that you've set for yourself, don't just give up. Just keep going and say it's okay. Just keep going, keep up, and double and triple your efforts, on consistency. Okay, so somebody was asking about feeling giddy. So Khadija, you said you feel giddy when you do intermittent fasting. So, yeah. Now, I've never felt giddy. Now, if you mean high energy, then I feel high energy. In other words, like I just got really, 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 really good energy though. It's not like I'm feeling anxious, but I would say if you're feeling anxious, like if you're not feeling good, you probably need to eat more. I mean, that's always my philosophy is like, if I'm not feeling good, I probably need to eat more in my window. If you're being really consistent with your window, you never want to feel anxious or anything like that. Okay, Mamo Trips lost 40 pounds at 5:01, gained some back, hit menopause. Oh, no. I don't think you meant, I think you meant 51. I think. Or 50. So you then gain some back, then you hit menopause, and at 54 you haven't been able to lose. Your son gave me his Fitbit verse and discovered you. Oh, so you just started OMAD this week and you're really excited. That is awesome. Okay, first of all, so you've got, you've got some left to lose, right? So you lost 40, you gained some back. So yeah, a lot of people on here, just to let you know, I've had several people who are even in like their 70s having really good results with OMAD and either walking or not even walking, just OMAD. So, okay. So let's see. Yeah. So Green Eye Bandit, you actually have blood sugar issues. So yeah. So Lonnie, go ahead and ask, or I don't know if you're asking Green Eye Bandit or me, but go ahead and ask your question. And so, and for those of you who are curious and maybe didn't catch my other live, but some people were wondering how much would I lose when I, when I walked 43 miles in a day. It was like hardly anything. Like, I think it was 2 pounds, maybe something like that. But I thought it would be more. Okay, so in a typical day, what's your eating regimen and what do you eat? So my typical day is just, I eat once a day, okay? But there's more to it than that, right? So I wake up generally around 5. Sometimes it's even earlier. And generally speaking, my husband and I go get our 6 miles in. And then I come back, and I have my first cup of coffee. I do drink coffee with half and half 3 times a day. And I've done it this whole time. I've always had coffee with half and half. In the beginning, it was a thing that really helped me to not eat during my fasting window. And then it just became a, hey, if I can still lose weight doing this, then I'm just going to keep it in there. And so that's what I do. That's how I like my coffee. So that's what I do. So then, so throughout the day, not at set periods or anything, just whenever I want the coffee, I have it. So it's generally 3 cups a day. Kind of, probably like first when I wake up, a couple hours after that, usually around the time we finish steps, I do another coffee, and then in the afternoon we do afternoon coffee. And then at night, so at around 6:30, we sit down and we have family supper. I eat everything, okay? Like, it does not matter to me, like, what kind of food it is. I don't have any rules at all, okay? Just to make that clear. I don't try to eat any particular way. I have a family of 5 and we're on a budget. So it's not going to be fancy food. It's going to be, a lot of times carbs are cheap. So I just eat whatever. Like, a typical night might be like last night was kind of a weird night because we didn't really, like, we need to go get groceries basically because we've been kind of distracted. But, like pasta with, like, it was like a beef stroganoff, but we didn't have any beef in it. So it was just like cream and mushroom soup and onions and stuff mixed in with like sour cream and just mixing all that together. That's an example of like something I would eat. I'm not the type that's like, you can't have any, like, I just eat everything. It's not like no canned condensed soups. Like, I'm gonna eat that kind of thing. Rice and beans is a big staple. As far as how much I'm eating, I sit down and I eat however much I want to eat. I try to just eat. I don't want to be overly full, and I don't want to not eat enough either. Like, I don't want to make myself miserable, but I want to eat enough so that the next day I'm feeling really good. And that's been just a thing of learning and paying attention to, like, immediately after the meal, like, kind of just checking in with myself saying, okay, how are you feeling? Do you feel full? And in the beginning, I would ask myself, especially when I got to OMAD, I really had to kind of hone in a little bit, because it was going from, probably a 24 all the way down to OMAD. So I would ask myself after the meal, like, okay, how are you feeling? Are you feeling overly full? Did you overdo it? Do you feel good? Do you feel like still hungry? If I still felt hungry, I would sit down and eat some more. But now I don't really have to do that because I'm pretty good at, like, being aware of how much I'm eating and how I'm feeling. So, okay, so generally speaking, that usually looks like a couple of servings. And generally speaking, my plate is, I keep meaning to measure it. It's like the, probably like an 8-inch, 9-inch plate. It's not the big, like, if you know the Fiesta ware, there's like a smaller plate and a big dinner plate. I like to eat off the smaller plate. I found that if my plate was bigger and I just ate however much I wanted, I tended to overeat. But when I went to a smaller plate, I could still, eat several helpings and eat as much as I wanted to, and yet I didn't overeat. It was kind of a weird thing. So generally that looks like 2 to 3 servings. I would say most times it's like 2, but like 2 platefuls of food. But sometimes it might be more, sometimes it's less, and that's another thing. It varies based on the time of month it is. Like, around period time, I'm gonna be hungrier. I just am. Like, I've learned that about myself. I am very hungry. My appetite is bigger. I will eat more. Other times of the month, I sit there and I'm like, oh, I'm really not hungry right now. So, those are just my experiences. Let's see. So then after I've finished eating, I stand up from the table, I get up, and I start fasting again. And then I don't eat again until the next day at supper time. And, like, again, I have coffee every single day. Every single day I have coffee 3 times a day. That is a constant. Every single day, that's 7 days a week, I walk 6 miles. 6 days out of the week, I'm doing OMAD, 1 meal a day. So that's,
eating once a day. And then on Sunday, I have cheat day. I eat whatever I want, however much I want, whenever I want. Okay, so Mamo trips 3, you've got 30 more pounds. All right. Well, you'll get there. Lonnie, you asked with or without sweetness. If you're talking about coffee, my coffee just has half and half, no sugar. I used to drink sugar in my half and half, and I used to have that in my fasting window because that's just what made it easiest. At that point, I loved having coffee, and it was just enough of a thing to say, you can have your coffee right now. You can't eat anything, but you can have coffee. And the coffee filled me up enough to get me through the fasting window. Now, I know a lot of, intermittent fasting police be like, you can't have any sugar in your fasting window. It was just a crutch to get me through until I could start to wean myself off of having sugar in my coffee. Because I knew if I could ever get to that point where I liked sugar-free coffee, so like no sugar in my coffee, I would start to like other drinks like that, other unsweetened drinks like unsweetened tea, which I do love now, LaCroix and all those things. So yeah, but now as far as actually in my eating window now, I eat, yeah, like if we have dessert, I'll eat dessert. Like on my cheat day, every Sunday morning we have some sort of family breakfast. It's usually a homemade pancake family breakfast that my husband fixes, which is awesome. And I put syrup on it, the whole bit. Or we'll get donuts. I mean, you know, I eat regular food, and I'm, you know, very, very, very transparent about that. Yeah, so I don't limit carbs at all. Okay. So, Mama, you're also 54, dealing with menopause. You've been walking and doing OMAD. You've lost 24 pounds. Way to go, SJD. That is great. That is great. So, OMAD is when you really got it. That's really, really good. Okay. Okay, so how long, Lonnie, you asked how long do I fast in a single day? So basically, it's almost 24 hours. I mean, it's like if you did the math, right? Like if I'm eating at 6:30 every day, and let's just say that it takes me 30 minutes to eat with my family, then technically that's like a 23-hour and a half fast, and then 30 minutes of an eating window. But basically, just say one meal a day. It's simple. Simple, simple, simple. Let's see. Khadija, she asked you a question. Oh, did I miss Khadijah's question? Is that what you're saying, Lonnie? Okay. Sparky, you said congrats on the 80-pound loss. Thanks. Have you checked your electrolytes with OMAD? I haven't. I didn't even know that was a thing that you could get them checked. I don't know. Like, what do you do? Do you, I don't know, maybe you can give me more information. Okay, apparently somebody was being dumb in here. You like eating off salad plates. Yeah, Darlene. Yeah, maybe, yeah, I should just start calling that. Probably that is what it is, right? A salad plate. I'm not very cultured. So yeah, it's probably just the Fiesta-ware salad plate, however big that is. That is what I use, and it seems to help. And you know, it might be a psychological thing too. It's like you can eat whatever you want, you know, and you can have maybe 2 or 3 platefuls, and maybe that feels like more food than it actually is. I don't know. So let's see, Catherine, you said, did you have a break from OMAD? If so, how long to get back into it? Okay, so occasionally I will take breaks. For example, let's say my family and I go on a vacation. Now we're full-time RVing, so that's not this is kind of different now because we're on just kind of like a permanent vacation. But we work all the time. But in the past, like if I go on vacation, for example, and it just makes sense for me to not be on OMAD, then I will go off OMAD, and I do it with intentionality, and I've done it several different ways on vacation. I take each vacation as it comes, but I set out kind of a plan beforehand, and I say to myself, I'm going to have a plan going into it. If I find that the plan, I'm going to, you know, remain accountable to myself, and if I find that the plan ends up being unsustainable, then I'm going to sit down with myself and then form a new plan. But I'm always about trying to be intentional with it and being very like, okay, what is this going to look like? And but I also take a break from OMAD every Sunday because Sunday is my day off from OMAD. So I eat whatever I want, whenever I want, however much I want. Okay. I hope that answers your question. Oh, and also I did, just to let you know, I took off from like November 2016 until about September of 2017 when I started this channel. I did things other than OMAD. Like I did intermittent fasting, but a lot of times it was like 2 meals a day, or my first meal would be supper, and then I would have like late night snacks with my husband. I did it a lot of different ways. I was just experimenting a lot.
And I find OMAD to get it's very easy to get back onto it. Like I can go on vacation for a week, and the next day I come back, I get right back on OMAD, because at this point I've practiced it so much, you know. So that's, hopefully that answers your question. And I do credit also my ability to get back on plan so quickly, I think, is because I have a cheat day every week. And so that's a practice every week of saying, okay, I'm going off plan today. You know, it's technically part of my plan, but you know, I'm not doing OMAD today, but then tomorrow I'm going right back on OMAD. So it's just a practice, and so it seems very easy now. Like, oh yeah, I was off plan, but now I'm back on plan. Yes, so Joni, you said before OMAD, did you say you did 24 intermittent fasting? And if so, was I losing weight steadily then? Yes. So I believe, now I didn't keep super good records. It's all from memory. But I believe by January 2016, when I got very clear on my plan, I was at about 16.8 or 18.6. I was pushing at that point to because at that point I had always heard, like, well, you shouldn't go longer than a 14-hour fast. But finally I read some stuff that said that's basically bunk. You can do longer fast. So I said, okay, I'm going to do that. And so I started really pushing and getting more confident with it. I would say that by January I'm pretty confident I was at an 18.6, and then I went to like a 24, and then the stomach bug hit our house and I did a OMAD. And yes, so starting in January I started to have steady results, and that was at like an 18.6, I think. So yes. And a lot of people, just to add that, a lot of people do have results with, you know, 18.6. That's the main thing, is I've kind of seen a pattern. It seems like when people get to 18.6, the results are much more consistent. But some people have results with less than shorter windows than that. So Lonnie Johnson, what is OMAD? 1 meal a day. That's all it stands for. And I didn't realize that at first. I just thought it was OMAD, like it didn't stand for anything. Okay, Sherry, do you have a Facebook page? If so, is the same as your YouTube? So, Sherry, I was just telling everybody I just created a YouTube group, or sorry, Facebook group, gosh. And my husband hopefully will put the link in the chat. It's also in the description. You can go there and join, and it's brand new. I just created it today. Okay. Oh, somebody already answered the OMAD thing. Let's see. My hour turns into 4 every night. Let's see. I think you mean like, maybe you mean, like, oh, I think what you're saying is like, you are trying to do OMAD, then it turns into 4 hours, and then it's like, yeah, you know, and again, do the easy thing at first, be consistent with whatever feels easy, and then if you want to tweak your window and try to make it shorter, go for it. Kiki, you said, been on OMAD for 2 weeks, and I've only lost 1.4 pounds. I think that's great. Is that about right, or do you think it should be coming off faster? Kiki, now, everybody's going to have a different opinion on this, but here's my opinion. I think that's fantastic. I think if you're feeling like it's easy, then you should not worry at all. Because if you think it's easy, you can stick with this for a long time. And the weight will eventually come off. Like, for example, when I was losing weight, so this is when I was at 207 pounds. So I still had a good bit to lose. I was losing weight at a rate of 1.16 pounds a week, which means some weeks it was less than 1.18 or 1.16, and then some weeks it was more than that. But I think, you know, so if you're saying 0.7 pounds a week, I still think that's fantastic, because it just means that the weight is coming off, and being really patient and taking the very long view, and be focused on just being consistent and making sure that the plan feels easy enough, because an easy plan you can stick with for a much longer period of time. So I'm okay with what people might call slower results, but you know, that's just me. It helped me when I said it's okay for it to take a really long time. Like, you know, when you really think about how long did it take you to put on the weight, you know, then give yourself some
some leeway there, right, to get it back off. People want to have, I mean, I wanted to, when I realized I was 222 pounds, I said, okay, 5 pounds a week, I'll be done with this in, what, 3 months or something like that. Yeah, that was totally unrealistic, but it was in my mind. It was always like, if I could just figure out a way to lose 5 pounds a week. And I just didn't. It was only when I said, okay, I'm gonna like try for 1 pound a week, but I'm gonna be okay with like half a pound a week. And if I can't get half a pound a week fairly consistently, then I maybe will try to change the plan a little bit. But that really is where I was in January of 2016. Okay. Do you think eating earlier in the day is better than later in the day? Cindy asked. I think whatever works best for you is the best thing. Because again, I'm all about consistency. So whatever is going to make it easy on you, like if it works out better for your schedule to eat earlier, then do it. But if it works out better to eat late, I wouldn't say that that's a bad thing. I eat at 6:30, which usually means a lot of times I go like, I eat, we're done eating, and then bedtime is really soon. I don't get a whole lot of activity in afterwards, which, you know, might scare some people, like, oh, I gotta work out after I eat, or, you know, gotta get some steps in after I eat. I just don't worry about it. And even like when I was maintaining, I had a lot of good results with just like doing the thing that everybody's like, don't eat after supper. Like, I wanted to eat my first meal at supper and then have late night snacks. It worked fine. I maintained the weight loss. It was, you know, so again, whatever you can stick with. Okay. Let's see, Chris, you said you're such an inspiration. Oh, thanks. You have no excuses. I'm on the way to losing 55 pounds. That is great. Yeah, and you will. I mean, you just, all you have to do is just stick with it and you'll totally get there. Okay, Sparky says blood test. Yeah, so I've never done it. So, but I feel really good. So, okay, let's see. Lonnie Johnson, if you're on birth control, it can actually work against putting those pounds off in a lot of cases. The estrogen in medicine makes it a bit more difficult to cut the triglycerides. Yeah, so I can't speak from a medical perspective, but I can tell you that when I was on birth control, back way a long time ago, because I'm not on it anymore, but a long time ago, I can tell you, I feel like it put the weight on me, like because I just felt hungry all the time. But anyway, okay, so we are right at an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and for chatting, and for, you know, join the Facebook group. We'll chat in there. And a couple of things, we're gonna work on getting some success stories up, like interviewing people who have just had good results with weight loss, intermittent fasting, or maybe even some other kind of fasting, OMAD, all that stuff. Thank you for joining. And also, if you haven't donated, if you could donate even just $5, that'd be awesome. Over like a third of our donations have been from small, like less than $50 donations. Has really impacted this really well. These kids will get water. These children in Uganda, Jezza, Uganda, they are widows and orphans. They're walking 6 miles every day to get water out of dirty river. So please consider giving to them. If you have any questions at all about the fundraiser, I'd be happy to answer anything, any concerns you have about who the organization is that's going to do it. Kinship United, I've donated to them personally for years and years. They're my favorite charity. Okay, thank you so much. I will see you guys next week, Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. All right, see you guys.